going on, my friends? Bruce Lund, founder of the Solopreneur Movement podcast. Every single week I come into your life with some kind of topic that is relevant to your sales, your business, your marketing, your operations, and probably most importantly, your mindset as a solopreneur. A solopreneur is fully in charge of their business growth every single day, and this is a special edition, a Spend Time with Talent title edition. I have my boy Gavin Higashi, one of my best friends, to be honest. I know he doesn't consider me that, but it's okay.
That's not true.
I
totally think of you as a friend.
Thank you. So he's truly my boy here in Denver, Colorado. I got introduced to Gavin a couple years ago from Ben Goss, actually. And Gavin has been in the title business close to 20 years, first American title. I'll give you the floor to do that. But guys, when it comes to production, when it comes to just being a straight hustler, Gavin is that guy. So I have no doubt you're going to get a ton of value from this podcast, from this interview with Gavin. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
For sure, man.
Thanks for thinking so highly of me that I can be on this podcast.
Well, of course.
I appreciate it very much.
I think you're our first title interview.
Sweet.
Fittingly.
Yeah.
Fittingly. So, well, let's jump in. You know, I do try to keep it like right to the point. I know people's time is valuable. And, you know, part of that is I don't want you to tell your story for 30 minutes. I want to give you 3 to 5 minutes to kind of humble brag on yourself. So in 3 to 5 minutes, just kind of talk about your journey, how you've gotten to this point right now.
Wow.
Putting you on the spot there.
No problem. Well, just a little background. I'm Colorado native, born and raised in Arvada, Colorado. Actually, we're filming this. I don't know if I can say
in
that.
our backyard, yeah.
We're filming where I grew up.
We are global as far as our podcast goes, but it's okay.
But I do want to say that, like, it's cool. It's always good to be in hometown and where I grew up. I graduated from Arvada High School in 1997, got my real estate license right out of high school. I probably looked like I was like a 12-year-old kid trying to sell houses, but it worked out and got recruited into title and worked on the back end of title for about 10 years, supporting sales teams, helping support the escrow officers, and really getting to understand the kind of the back end administrative side of the title business. And then I was 28 when I decided to get in sales, and the rest is kind of history. So I've been selling for about 12 years with First American. It's been great, man. It's worked out good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've been having your best months, your best year ever, right? Is that accurate to say? I don't want to you know, overstep my boundaries here.
Absolutely.
We can always edit this out if we need to.
I think any sales profession, you should always want to do a little bit more, if not a lot more than you did the year before. Continually build on the foundation that you already started. Try not to take too many steps backwards. Sometimes you definitely have to go backwards, but yeah, absolutely trying to build on it. And this year I can say for sure is a year that I'm up, not a ton. I think I'm up like 10% over last year, but that's substantial for me.
Gavin, when you say you're up 10% for the amount of volume you do, that's a lot. That's a lot of production. Like, let's just be honest, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
I won't tell Gavin's numbers, but if you want to go look him up, I'm sure you can find him. He's the #1 title producer in Colorado. So
gosh, I hope you can't find him.
there we go. Maybe you can. So, well, let's get into. You know, when I prepped Gavin for this show, I told him, you know, this podcast really, it's obviously meant for anybody in real estate, mortgage, title, insurance, financial. Specifically today for title. But I really do want to talk to the newer people out there, right? They're getting into the business because my whole premise is most people need to get back to the basics of their business. And so even getting back into the basics for you as a seasoned veteran, I'm sure there's things that you're like, man, I need to get back to the basics. And then you start doing those basic things and then your volume goes up again, right? Correct. And so that's really what our premise here is. I want to give those younger, newer people some back to the basics things. So if Gavin was in year #1 right now, even knowing now what you do, like what kind of piece of advice would you give to that brand new young hustler out there getting started in the title business?
I think the first thing is make sure you set a good, strong vision for what you want to do. So don't put a cap on what you think the potential is of what you can actually accomplish. Aim really high, dream really high, like see it big. I think a lot of newer title reps, really any new salespeople, they get into sales and they're just like, hey man, I just want to survive and get by. And I feel like if I would have had a bigger vision of what I was capable of in this business, I would have hit it a lot harder, a lot quicker. And really just, if you surround yourself with people that you know are doing the production that you want to do, it's just valuable because then you know it's doable. If you don't see someone else doing it, a lot of times you don't think it's doable.
Yeah.
Either in your profession or from the peers around you. You got to surround yourself with people that really help you believe that vision of what you know is possible. So then every day when you're waking up, you know why you're putting that time into it. I'm a big Gary Vee fan, and his goal is to own the Jets. I think that's the biggest goal you can have, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's not, but I think that's a huge, massive goal. I mean, you got to have billions of dollars in order to accomplish that goal, but he set it so high, and it motivates him to just keep pressing and pushing. And again, finding people like that, even though like Gary Vee and I are not friends, I feel like he's a mentor to me, and I watch what he does, and I see what he does, and I want to try to kind of live on a similar path of just pushing towards an end goal.
Yep. So the end goal is a big thing. I talk about having a dominant focus, right?
Yeah.
What is your dominant focus? People call that your big, hairy, audacious goal.
Yep.
There's a lot of different things that people call it, but I think you're right on with the reason a guy like Gary Vee, it can be easy to become complacent, right?
Sure.
When you have success, it can be maybe even boring, right? A lot of people I know that are top producers, they get bored by it. And I know, again, we're talking about younger, brand new people. They're not bored. They're trying to figure all this stuff out. But I do think that's something like I know you wake up with a vision and a plan every single day. You're doing CrossFit in the morning. You're doing certain things every single day because you understand the compound effect. If you don't do it today, it doubles now tomorrow.
Absolutely. And I think most of the salespeople I've been around, they just lack patience. If you consistently do the same things, eventually those things snowball and build on themselves, compound, Darren Hardy, right? Compound into really great things. But if you put a cap on when that should happen and what that should look like and how quickly all that stuff, you're doing a disservice to yourself, because you have to believe in the activities and you just go. And kind of to your earlier point, like, you believe in your activities, and then because we are salespeople, we want to be challenged. You got to make adjustments, try something new, enter, like I joined your program, right? And it helped me a ton. Just understanding what other activities I could be doing that could benefit my business, but just really forcing myself to get uncomfortable and think about what I could be doing to do better.
Yep.
And not just rest on the fact like, oh, hey, I'm doing great, and I feel like I'm in a good spot, and I feel like I'm doing good by the company I work for, and I feel like I'm doing good by my family, and I could just chill.
Yep.
But that's not me. Like, I have to press. I've got to adapt. I've got to progress. Like, you got to get better, and you got to consistently learn if you really, really want to hit those goals. So again, if your goal's low, then you don't have to do anything. Right?
Yep.
You hit your goal and you're like, sweet, I'm awesome. But if your goal's really high, it's hard to catch it. So you just keep going.
So let's talk on a micro level then. On a micro daily level, what does a day in the life of Gavin look like? Like, let's walk you. Like, do you do theme days at all? Is it you just wake up and hustle every single day? Just kind of walk the audience just to give them kind of an idea of what you do.
So where I'm at now, or where if I was brand new getting into title?
We can do both.
Okay.
Let's do both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
Let's do your current day.
Okay. So as salespeople grow and they get busier and find success, a lot of other factors come into play, and a lot more people try to pull on your time, and it just becomes a little bit harder and harder to really manage your schedule and manage your days. So I'm pretty consistent with going to CrossFit in the morning. So wake up at 5, I get to CrossFit at 5:30, I'm done by 6:30, go home, shower, head to the office. So that one little piece, if I can control that in my day, everything else just kind of flows, right? And then I'm just kind of moving through the day, meeting with people, calling on prospects, making sure that our closers and closing teams are all taken care of, answering to other sales reps, or not answering to other sales reps, but reaching out to other sales reps, making sure that they're feeling supported and taken care of, making sure our management team's taken care of, just those kinds of things. But the key is controlling that front end of my day. If I control that front end of the day, it's like the rest of it just kind of rolls.
And is the front end like what time? Like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, noon?
5 to probably 5 to 9.
Okay.
I would say is if I can control that little window, then the rest is good.
And would you say that a lot of your time for you now is reactive? Like, I mean, most top producers, we want them to be proactive, but you have so many probably incoming demand and stuff coming in that you have to react to.
Actually, I feel like I'm less reactive
Okay.
now. I just feel like I'm really full, right? Like, so my schedule is really full. So I'm not reacting to as much. A lot more is planned out. But those days are just full. So I can't be as spontaneous or reactive as I wanted to be in the past. Luckily, I have some pretty good support. So if I do need to be reactive, I have people to support me with that.
Yep.
But a lot more of it is scheduled.
Good.
I think I was a lot more reactive when I was new. And maybe that wasn't good, but it worked out well.
Yeah. So all right, so how much of your stuff is like inside versus outside sales? Because I know you like to get face-to-face with people, right? So
I want to keep it like 90-10, 90% outside, 10% inside sales, focusing on, 90% of my time is focused on getting in front of people, being visible. Being visible is extremely important in my career. I just feel like you don't know what the timing looks like for real estate agents or lenders. You don't know when they're going to need you, but as long as you're visible, and I hear this excuse a lot, like, well, agents aren't in the office and I don't get to see them very often, and I kind of don't care about that. I just go and get in front of as many people as I can in the day. Planned or unplanned, I'm getting in front of people, and that's absolutely my goal.
And do you have like a benchmark, how many offices you're trying to do, or is it literally just go?
Just go, show up, get in front of people, and have time blocked to be in front of people. Perfect. And look for those opportunities. Some of my favorite things to do are like a lunch appointment cancels, and my schedule's just open. So then I just start calling people and like, hey, I'm going to Topgolf, meet me at Topgolf, and then people will just come meet me at Topgolf. And then I replaced my lunch and probably made it more valuable by getting in front of more people. Yep. So I've met a lot of sales reps where they get any free time, they just like, oh, I got free time, I'm gonna use it as that, right? And I look at it as a new opportunity to get in front of that many more people, reach out to people I haven't maybe talked to. I wish I had more of that, but I just don't. But that's the part I really have always enjoyed, is getting in front of people I already know and getting in front of people I don't know. So
I think this is one of the biggest things that I really want. Like, I'm so glad that you said that, Gavin, for you solopreneurs out there. Like, a solopreneur takes ownership of their day. Right. You use the word opportunity. You see an hour in your schedule opening up as an opportunity now for you just to go to work or to invite people. A lot of people see their job, their job, just so we're broke, as really as an obligation, right? Well, the company gives me these benchmarks, and I have to make X amount of calls and X amount of visits, and that's why you are the top producer, right? Is because you run your business like a true business.
And I think you hit a good point, though. Like, companies have to have benchmarks of their salespeople in order to at least set the expectation of where they should probably be at, right? My goal is always to be the one that breaks every single one of those benchmarks so that I never get asked to hit a benchmark, right?
Yep.
So if you're out producing what they think you should be producing, then they're never going to bug you. And then I can just go do what I like.
Yep.
Right? And that's seeing people.
That's right, man.
Trying to find more deals and supporting our closers and supporting the company and all that stuff.
Yep. So you've been a mentor to a lot of people, right? And I mean, it's kind of like you're like the Bill Belichick of the coaching family tree there for the title business. Yeah, I like that. So, but we're like, so getting back into the younger, newer people, what are some struggles that you see them have early on then? You talked about, I know, like kind of believing in yourself, and what's, again, like more of a, is it confidence? Is it success isn't happening quick enough? Like,
all those.
All those.
Yeah. So I just go right back to like when I started. Finding wins in any sales is extremely difficult, especially in this industry. To be able to break into a real estate office, get to know the managing broker, get to know the agents, that takes a lot of time. And if we as kind of mentors in title or in any sales can find ways to not shortcut but get newer people to the win faster, then I feel like we all win from that.
Yep.
And one of the most important things for me as a mentor to other title reps is finding them opportunities based off either people I know I can't be visible with or can't be in front of, but I know they can. So I'll make those introductions, make sure that they're taken care of by these new salespeople, and that gives them early wins.
Yep.
And that's been very important to me in the careers of the people that I mentor, is getting them in front of people because ultimately they need that. They need those introductions because that's what takes the longest.
Yep.
Is getting to know who makes decisions, who has deals, who's going to waste your time, right? All that stuff. So being able to take a rep that's not had any of that and put them right into pretty quick success.
Yep.
That's been super beneficial because then it gives them confidence, gives them the ability to really understand like what their thing is. What do you call it? Like
Opportunity statement.
their
the
opportunity
why,
statement, but their
their
why.
belief statement.
You have a term for it. It's like your gift or your ability.
Your free prize.
Your free prize. Thank you.
Yep.
Your free prize. Like if you can figure out your free prize while you're building confidence with actual clients that send you business, I think that's a win.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So if you don't have that as a new sales rep or any kind of salesperson, you just got to keep grinding until you get those and start morphing and figuring out that free prize and what is actually attracting to people. You'll start converting people based off of that.
All right, so I'm gonna put you on the spot, and again, we can edit this out if we need to. Yes. So, and I got to be careful too. But
Ask me whatever, man.
I've gotten to the point where if I had to choose my ideal client to who I want to work with, I want to coach predominantly people in title, in financial services, and mortgage, and like mortgage insurance. Mm-hmm. Because for whatever reason, I don't know if it's me, I don't know if it's our systems. I've had a lot of struggles with real estate agents. So you go after real estate agents all day, every day. Talk about your experience in title business, because you had talked about like there are certain people that are going to waste your time. There are certain people that tell you to do a certain volume, they're not doing anywhere close to that, because you guys can look that up, right? So like I'm just amazed you're in it for 17, 18 years, correct? Is that right?
Yeah, 20.
20 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I can only imagine like quote unquote chasing real estate agents every single day for 20 years.
Well, the good thing is there's some really awesome real estate and real estate people, lenders and realtors out there for sure. I feel like, so if this answer is like, I'm not trying to like skirt it at all. I just think that we attract to people that we want to attract to. Like if I meet a real estate agent and I'm not connected, mm-hmm. like I don't feel that connection, then I'm probably going to just keep going, right? Titles, and it's probably a reason why you attract so well to title and mortgage insurance. I mean, we're so volume based. Like we have to have so many transactions. Lenders, if they're closing 10 to 20 transactions a month, they're killing it, right? Mm-hmm. Real estate agents, if they're closing 1 or 2 a month, they're killing it. So title, I close anywhere from 150 to 250 transactions a month, and that comes from, I don't know, however many sources of business, over 150 different sources of business every month. So I have to make sure that we're getting in front of the people that I know we're connecting with and we're the right fit for. And really, I want to make sure that I'm spending a lot of time and connecting with the people that I know value that and basically advocate for me. And they're going to help me turn my time with that one person into multiple other relationships. Yep. Just this week, man, I picked up this huge account just based off of internal marketing that I do inside of our company. This is not external marketing directly to real estate agents. This is basically me building a brand and a relationship with other reps inside of First American. And I've picked up three really strong accounts just this week from referrals from those reps. Yep. And again, it doesn't have to just be the real estate agents. There's multiple different sources of business and ways you can get deals. But regardless, you got to feel that connection because they're going to be committed to you and your success as much as you want to be committed to them and their success.
Yep.
I think
you handled that perfectly. Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Give 80% of your time to the 20% who deserve it, right?
Right?
Unfortunately, most of us do the opposite. We give the majority of our time to the wrong people.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you've gotten to the point, though, and I've actually heard you have conversation with people, you just kind of tell them, like, I don't think I can give you the value that you really want. Right. Like, I don't know if you're doing it intentionally, like the takeaway close, because then now they want to work with you, but I have actually heard you do that a lot of different times because you really do. You are value driven when it comes to if I don't think I can help you, then I'm not going to approach you. I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to do all that kind of stuff. And I've actually heard you do like I said, the takeaway close with people. Now they want to work with you because of that.
I think that's there's a couple different sides of that, right? But like, one, I'm trying to be mindful of my time, but you're absolutely right. I always lead with value. If I can't provide value to someone in their business or with their clients or whatever that looks like, education or whatever, if I can't add value and give them the time that they deserve, I don't expect them to work with me at all, because I wouldn't work with someone if there's no like direct value that I feel like, oh, they're giving to me, then I want to give to them, right? So I don't have that expectation of people. It also gives me the ability to understand how much value I need to give in order to earn their business, right? So if I ask them that question, or if I tell them that, like, hey man, I come in with the assumption that they're gonna want all my time, right? So if I say, hey, I don't know what that looks like, and I don't know how much time you really need, if they're still gonna work with me in First American and they know I've set the expectation up front, like I can't give you all that time, and they're still gonna work with First American, I know that I'm good, right?
Yep.
Then it's a good fit. They're doing it for the reasons they wanna do it for, and I was upfront with them, like, hey, I cannot provide a certain value, but they still work with us.
That's
which
right.
I'm so grateful for.
Yeah.
Which I'm so grateful for. But that ultimately it's not a takeaway to try to be like, oh, I'm gonna see
No, I know.
if they're gonna work with me or not. Like, I'm just being very upfront, honest,
Yep.
and genuine. Like, hey, I can't give you that time if you want to work with us still. I so appreciate that.
Yep.
Like, that would be awesome.
Yep. All right, so I want to kind of transition or shift gears. You know, I've been pushing you for a while now to write a book called Give Without Expectation. I know it's probably
Nice.
a concept that already exists, but
It does exist.
But it goes hand in hand with what you're talking about. Is this value driven, lead with value, and then if you give so much value, eventually you're going to get it back in return. And I mean, I really do. You know, you were talking about numbers earlier and not becoming complacent. And I remember you just telling me why. It's not so much about you and your family and taking care of all that, but it's your work family, right? And it's being able to provide for them. You know, the more volume that you can bring in for them, the more everybody eats, you know, when it comes to it that way. So I just think it's great, man, because I know you on a personal level that a lot of people, maybe professionally, I know you're very well respected, but they might not see the glimpse into stuff like that. So I just wanted to kind of pump you up, because I mean, again, that's that give without expectation mindset. So talk about where that mindset comes from. So this is the free prize for you, I believe. So I want to give you, again, permission to kind of humble brag on your free prize, even like your upbringing. Like if you want to go in that deep.
That's so funny. That's exactly where I was going to go.
Yeah.
Is, my parents are both from Hawaii. Hospitality in Hawaii is extremely, extremely important. Growing up as a kid, we had people just constantly in and out of our house, coming over, unexpected, expected, and my mom would just feed them constantly, just take care of them. Even now, my kids, like, I'll go pick up my kids from my mom's house and she'll just start feeding me, right? It's a hospitality thing, it's a very welcoming thing, but to me, it's like that, they just give. She gives her time, my dad's the same way, gives her time, gives her energy, looks for ways to make the other person feel valued and comfortable and welcomed, and then that's it. They don't expect anything in return. Like, it's amazing, actually. My parents don't expect anything in return. I always feel really bad. I actually called my mom recently. I'm like, hey, I want to send you to do this, or I got you this. Like, I got her this thing, like set of knives, and they're really nice knives. And I gave them. She's like, I don't want that. Like, I don't need anything. She's like, we love just taking care and just being there for you. And that's where I learned it from, is you just give to people. And if they work with you or they don't work with you, or they're your friend or they're not your friend, it doesn't matter, right? You just take care of people, and you know what? Someone will take care of you at some point, and if they don't, they don't.
Yep.
Right? So.
Well, that's where I just feel like I said, I mean, like that story, that background, it's almost like you were made for the title industry, right? Because that is what you do on a daily basis, is you do give without expectation.
I wanted to be made for like professional golfer.
I hear you.
But you know what? I'll take my skill. I'm pretty excited about it. But yeah, no, it's so important, and it all stems off hospitality, and that's really just put everyone else before yourself, and like look for ways that you can support them. And you know what's cool about that is people remember how you make them feel always. They don't really remember how they made you feel. They remember how you made them feel. And
I
live
love it,
for
man.
that, you know?
Yeah, I love it. So
So,
well,
sorry,
you
I
mentioned
look all over the place.
no, man. So you mentioned golf, and we'll close on this.
Okay.
Because
Uh-oh.
you know, like you're just a straight machine. Like I thought I was good at networking and going out and like doing these little benchmarks that we have in our selling system, right? But when it comes to like happy hours and golf, and I know like you can give a shout out to your wife for obviously handling the
for
home
sure.
that allows you to go do a lot of these things that you get to go do. But
Yeah.
I mean, you are a machine when it comes to networking.
Thanks.
Is that something you enjoy doing? Is it just something it's part of the deal? Like I know you love Nuggets games. Like you invited me to a Nuggets game the other day. Like you're going there and hanging out with our mutual friend Troy. You're like one of your really good friends, right?
Yeah.
So it's just part of your deal, right? But is
Right.
it something that you just accept? Or is it something that you really enjoy doing? So again, talking to a title person, because there's a lot of networking. There's a lot of boozing that goes into the business, or at least there can be, right? So
Sure there is.
so talk about, again, man, I'm telling you, I want to do micro level stuff. This is micro level.
No, I love it. It's, again, going back to the first part of our interview, right, is get in front of people. So however you choose to get in front of people, I guess if I was being prospected and someone was like, hey, Gavin, let's get on a phone call and talk for 30 minutes, that sounds lame. I'm just being honest. Like, that sounds not that fun. But if it's like, hey, why don't you and me and 10 other people, why don't we go hang out and grab a drink? That sounds more fun. And plus, I could be face to face, right?
Yep.
So the goal is to get in front of people, be visible. But yeah, I do enjoy that stuff. And it gives me ability to show hospitality to them and really just love on them and enjoy that time with them. If that's golf, Nuggets, sitting in a closing room and having a cup of coffee, like I enjoy that
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah.
So being in that moment.
Yep. And I do know that you do go through cycles too, though, right? So
Oh,
you
for
go
sure.
through, I think you kind of go through kind of like the
Yeah.
90-day cycle stuff. You go where it's like, man, I got to go hard in my business.
Yeah.
So kind of talk through that too.
So let me just go back to the networking thing
Yeah.
real quick. So you had mentioned it too. My wife and I are an incredible team. Like we talk about it all the time. I could not do my job without her. I have other reps that I work with that are either single moms or moms with one or two kids. They're also wives, and they hustle. I mean, they hustle, and they schedule everything out, and they have so much control of their schedule, but they're limited, right? Like they're limited on what they're able to do or not do. And because of the partnership my wife and I have, like like as a team,
Your
we're
teammates,
able to
yeah.
grow very, very quickly because I know she's got my back, and she knows I got her back, and we just go. So even she's been home full time for like the last 17 years and could not do my job, period, if I did not have that teammate to get that done.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I just wanted to make sure I hit on that because it's extremely important, and it
Yep.
is by far the biggest reason of my success is because I can literally go and be in front of everybody 24/7. So, because she's there,
Yep.
for sure.
Yep.
So thanks for hitting on that. And then I didn't hear your last question.
Yeah, so I mean, well, it feeds into that, right?
Okay.
It kind of feeds into that. I know you do run your
Oh,
business
yes.
in your life and kind of those cycles to where, there's times where you're like, man, I got to be all in on prospecting. There's times
Yeah.
that you might want to be all in on your family, right? There might
Yeah.
be things going on. So I do know you kind of go through that work-life balance.
Yeah. So Gary Keller's One Thing book, in there he talks about balance and how everyone's like, you need to have balance in your life. He talks about counterbalancing. So when you spend a lot of time at work and you're spending a lot of time at work, you need to shift that and spend more time with the family. And you just kind of keep counterbalancing it because you'll never be even.
Mm-hmm.
You just won't be. So you just have to be conscious of, okay, time spent here, now I got to spend time here, and then just keep moving between that.
Yep, I love it. One of the terms I've really grown accustomed to lately, I'm not sure if I've told you about this one yet or not, this might be a new concept for you.
Okay.
Intentional congruence. Intentional congruence is
Sounds
where
too smart
it sounds,
for me. Sounds like it's coming from a doctor.
I had to go research it. Intentional congruence though is where all things feed all things.
Yep.
Right. So again, like I remember we were having cocktails and it was like going into a fantasy football draft and you and your son were kind of intentional congruence is that. It's like we're all things as long as like you're saying your wife and you are teammates and you enjoy doing certain things, she enjoys doing certain things, your friends, right? So if all things can feed all things, now it becomes fun in that process.
I'm laughing because you basically just said you took your son to meet with me at a bar to have cocktails before a fantasy football draft.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't really. He obviously wasn't drinking.
He had to go to the fantasy football draft. He's my secret weapon.
Yeah.
I need him. The kid knows everything about all football, so I needed him. He's my secret weapon.
But that's intentional congruence, though,
Yeah,
right? Is
you're
where
right.
Because you guys have all these commonalities and interests
Sure.
and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
once
That's
you
cool,
can get
man.
these things working together, it becomes a whole lot easier.
I need a more layman's term than intentional congruence.
We'll come up with something.
Sounds really cool.
We'll come up with something.
Yeah.
So, well, let's wrap it up then.
Okay.
Again, so I know people a lot of times in title, it's like, you don't really expect to make a lot of money in the first 2 years. Would you agree with that, or yes or no?
1,000%.
Okay.
Yep. I just met with a young gentleman. I don't know, a young kid. I don't know. They're all kids to me now. I've gotten to that point in my age where everyone's younger than me. So I met with a kid yesterday who's thinking about getting into title, and I said, well, can you basically starve for 18 months? And granted, not like make zero, but really starve. Like, can you live without for 18 months? And I mean, without really like a ton of money and a ton of time specifically, can you live without having all that time? Because if you can pour 18 months into any sales job, look for every opportunity, show up at every event, get in front of every single possible person that you've been afforded the opportunity to be in front of, you gotta take it. For 18 months, you just take it and you roll with it and you just go as hard as you can for 18 months.
Yeah.
Man, it just pays off.
Yep.
If they have the patience and the wherewithal and the drive to get through that 18 months, they'll be successful in sales.
Yeah.
And specifically title.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I know, like, for me, moving here, not knowing anybody,
Yeah.
right? Like, I never would have met you if it wasn't for that, right? Like, you never know who you're going to get in front of. That can turn into one relationship, into another, and now, like, I think you said it the first time we met, like, I didn't think I was going to like this guy, right? Like, like, I don't think we're naturally going to, like, just hit it off. But then,
I was very transparent and very upfront with you. Like, I did not think I would. Like, because again, anyone that's asking for your time when you don't have a ton of it, something else has to be given up to give that time, right? So I get a little standoffish because I know that I don't have a ton of it. And man, your sales system, and not even your persistence, just how it is persistence, but it doesn't feel persistent with you. And you're just consistently available and you're consistently visible and you're having those conversations and you're making it about them. And man, over time, I just gained so much respect for how quickly you built a following in Colorado, in Denver, in like 6 months. I couldn't even believe it. So I was like, shoot, I have to talk to him now because like he's killing it in the shortest period of time. And even now, as you build and build and build, I mean, these speaking engagements that you're in and the stages that you're on with the people that you're on stage with, it's very impressive, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Congratulations. That's really cool.
well, it's much to do about guys like you, man. It really is, and it's the same thing. Like, iron sharpens iron, right? So I watched the same things in you. So you mentioned a word, and I know we're getting about time where I want to be at, but you said respect. I think that's one of the most undervalued traits that we talk about in sales, right? We talk about know, like, and trust all the time. Carnegie, you got to know somebody, like them, trust them. Well, there's actually a Harvard Business Journal review, and this is a TED Talk I'm working on. That's why I'm weaving it into our conversation.
It's perfect. I love it.
Is respect. Like, when you respect somebody, when they've been battle tested, and you respect what they're doing, and you can see them hustling, and you said consistency, right? And I think that's the same thing for us. Like, we mirror that in each other. I see you wake up and doing CrossFit at 5 a.m. I see you going to the networking events, even though you are the top producer. Like I see you doing all these things. So even from afar, and I think that's one of the great things about people of influence, is you inspire and influence people even when you don't know it, just by showing up and doing these things.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's a big thing that I take from you. Like, whenever I'm in town, I call you and you're like, dude, we just hung out like last week or last month, and I always feel like it's been 3 years because I love spending time with you because I believe that you can borrow confidence from other people. So with all that being said, man, I do appreciate, obviously, for you being our very first Spend Time with Talent Title Edition. I know there's going to be a ton of value from this interview. So thank you so much for being you and for the friendship and obviously coming on here.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
Awesome, man.
Thanks for everything you do. thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it.
With that being said, Gavin, where can they find you at? LinkedIn, Facebook? I mean, what's your preferred if somebody listens to this and they want to reach out, even though your time is valuable?
Yeah, really, probably Instagram is where I spend the most time right now. Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat-ish. It probably most likely will get a response from me on Snapchat. It's just not going to be super quick, but I don't get that many messages on Snapchat, so there's a high likelihood we'll connect to that or Instagram.
So yeah. Instagram, let's get his IG followership
Gavin
up there.
Higashi.
Gavin Higashi. So
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gavin. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Thanks.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Awesome.
All right.